Testosterone is a hormone that is an anabolic hormone, which means that it builds things. So if we want to build tissue, we want to build strong muscles, we're going to want to have high enough testosterone. So yes, it builds muscle, and at the same time, it also decreases, people with elevated testosterone will have lower body fat. So those are both things that people are looking for. Also energy. If you're someone who's tired and fatigued all the time, you may also have low testosterone. So higher levels are associated with more energy. It's also an anti-aging hormone. So if you're someone who has low testosterone levels, then you're going to be more likely to age more quickly, which I don't think anybody wants to do. Testosterone also has been shown to protect brain cells. So if you have low testosterone, you can be thinking along the lines of early Alzheimer's or Alzheimer's period, which nobody wants to have. So the effects of an adequate amount of testosterone are amazing, and we should all have a proper balance of our hormones. Let's talk about how many people in this country have low testosterone and how relevant is it. We have some studies here, and according to the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, they concluded that men's testosterone levels are at the lowest level in recorded history. Currently at the lowest level in recorded history. Now, on the one hand, I'm not surprised because we watch all these commercials for Viagra and all the associated commercials along that line, so I know that we all know that it's a problem. But the lowest level in recorded history, that's mind-boggling. Another study, another fact, 500,000 new diagnosed cases of low testosterone in the U.S. each year. So 500,000 people are diagnosed with low testosterone. Now that's just the diagnosed number. Think about how many people are out there. I'll bet that that's a small portion of it. Think about how many people are not diagnosed with that, but they have it. Every extra ounce of body fat we have converts more testosterone to estrogen. Now, estrogen, we know estrogen as one of the female hormones. Now, we all have estrogen in us, men and women, but estrogen is also a hormone that proliferates tissue, and people who tend to have high estrogen tend to have larger breasts. So, as a man, if you're converting testosterone into estrogen, you may be someone who's suffering with some of those symptoms. I don't think any man wants to have that. So, low testosterone also contributes to obesity. And in women, the testosterone-estrogen balance, or the ratio, is really important in regard to your shape and your waist circumference and your hip circumference. And if we have those ratios are skewed, we don't have enough testosterone, then we're going to be more of the pear shape, which is something that we can change, and that's what we want to do. So how do you know if you have low testosterone? Well, there's a couple ways you can go by the clinical symptoms, right? Are you tired all the time? Well, that might be low testosterone, but it might be a million other things. But take that into account. Do you have low libido? Both men and women. This isn't just men. But if you are a man, if you're having performance issues, or you're not the same as you were when you were 18, then you can guess that you probably have that. Again, that waist circumference ratio as well, body fat. So if you look down at yourself and you can't see your shoes, well, you probably have low testosterone as well. You can pinch your waist also. When I was growing up, I remember them talking about pinch an inch. Can you pinch an inch? I think it was Special K or something like that. Can you pinch an inch? And if you can pinch an inch, again, remember, the more body fat you have, the more your body is going to convert the testosterone over to estrogen. I'm going to share with you that flow chart of where the hormones go in just a minute. But the best way to figure out if you have low testosterone, in my opinion, is to test it. Do a blood test. Have your doctor run a blood test. And if they're not willing to do it, then give us a call and we'll run a blood test for you. Then we could see the total testosterone. We could see the associated hormones, the estrogen, the progesterone, the androstenedione, and all the other things that we're going to need to see to know what the cause is of your hormonal issue. But run a blood test. It's pretty easy. You also want to see the free testosterone compared to the total testosterone. That's the best way to do it. That's how you'd figure that out. Now, if you do find that you have low testosterone or you suspect it, what are you going to do about it anyway? Well, the most common thing people do, when they have low testosterone is they take synthetic testosterone. They go get testosterone injections. Any synthetic hormone that you're injecting into your body, I'm not a big fan of, especially if you can do it in a more natural way. But what I'm talking about is raising our testosterone levels naturally, safely, effectively, naturally, without having to take steroids, without having to take any synthetic or non-synthetic testosterone, but being able to raise it up. And I'm also not talking about snake oil. What I'm talking about are proven specific ways that have been proven through double-blind, placebo-controlled studies that show that we can up to double our natural levels of testosterone. So if you could do it safely and naturally and effectively without doing anything dangerous, might as well do it, right? And everybody wants to feel better, have less body fat, have more muscle, and not be anti-aging and not get Alzheimer's, right? So I think everybody should be trying to do this, in my opinion. So what are ways that we can do it? Well, we always talk about diet, and I'm always going to talk about diet because it's fundamental, it's basic, and we need to do that. So the best diet, in my opinion, it'll differ slightly for certain people, but in general, it's low carbohydrate, moderate protein, and higher fat. Yes, I said higher fat, and if you watch these videos, you'll learn that is a renewing theme. We talk about that all the time. Good fats, avocado, coconut, olive oil, nuts, things like that. But low carb. So why is low carb important with regard to testosterone? Well, it's been shown that insulin will increase our conversion to a hormone called estrone from another hormone called androstenedione. And it also blocks our conversion of androstenedione to testosterone. So what's going to cause us to have insulin secreted? Well, sugar, carbohydrates like breads and pastas and things like that, and ice cream and candy and other things that are sweet and delicious. You should throw them out. They're going to cause you to be sick in some way or another. And it's probably going to relate to testosterone as well. But let me show you the little conversion sheet here. Now, I know I ask you to read backwards every time here, and hopefully by this week you're getting better at it. But all these hormones, this is the sex hormone flow chart, and it begins with cholesterol. Yeah, cholesterol. Cholesterol's not all bad, right? Our sex hormones are made and created by cholesterol. So from cholesterol, it gets downregulated to pregnenolone, okay? And pregnenolone can go one of two ways. It can either go down to DHEA or it can go over to progesterone. And let's follow this pathway first, down the progesterone aspect. So we go down and we go to the adrenal hormones. Okay, so if there's a high need for adrenal hormones, well, then we're going to go down this pathway. Okay, so if you're stressed out and you're having, stress from life and family and money and infection and toxins and all those other things that you're probably dealing with, we're going to go down that pathway and we're going to rob ourselves of the hormone that's going to testosterone. So if we have adrenal issues, we need to identify those and get rid of them and calm them down. So if we do go down the DHEA, or even the progesterone can actually shunt to androstenedione. So androstenedione is a hormone, and it is, if you think back to Mark McGwire in 1998, he was the batting champ, or the home run record in 1998. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals. This was the drug he was taking, the hormone he was taking, androstenedione. Okay, and he had that performance increase because of that. So androstenedione can convert to estrone, right? So if we're having a lot of sugar and insulin, then we're not going to go to testosterone. We're going to go down to estrone, again, a female hormone. So if you're a man, you don't want a female hormone. If you're a woman, you don't want to have too much female hormone either in regard to estrone. So if things are working properly and we're having a proper diet and our physiology is sufficient, we're going to go over to testosterone. So testosterone, if you look at that, can also convert to things. It can convert to estradiol, and it can convert to DHT. Estradiol, again, is a female hormone, a very potent female hormone. And again, when a lot of men are converting testosterone over to estradiol, when they have all that excess body fat, it will convert this, and then you'll end up having some female characteristics physically that people can see. And we don't want to go down that way. We want to stay here. And how about DHT? What's DHT? Well, if we're converting our testosterone over to DHT, we're going to be more likely to have prostate cancer, and it's also been associated with male pattern baldness. But that's not just men. Women can have that as well. So all those hormones there have to be in a proper ratio. We're supposed to have the right amount, not too much or too little. It has to be the proper amount. So getting back to how we raise our testosterone levels, number one was diet, which we talked about. So throw out the sugar, just do it, just get rid of that stuff. Yeah, it tastes good, but it's short term. There's other things you can have that taste really, really good as well. So that's number one, eat the right way. Number two, high intensity interval training, or HIIT for short. What that is, it's a way of exercise where you are not out there on a treadmill, jogging for an hour or 2 hours. It's high intensity, short bursts of exercise. I'm going to do a video on this in the future, but just to sum it up really quickly, we have slow twitch fibers of muscle, we have fast twitch muscles of fiber, and we have very fast twitch muscle fibers. Those three different categories. And if you're the one who's out there just jogging for 45 minutes or an hour or 2 hours or running a marathon, you are exercising those slow twitch muscle fibers. And the fast twitch muscle fibers, which we all have, will begin to atrophy. You don't use it, you lose it. So doing all that jogging is just stimulating the aerobic aspect of your muscles. So what high intensity interval training does is it will get to the fast twitch and the very fast twitch muscle fibers as well. And there is a lot of research on this that shows that it increases testosterone, it increases growth hormone substantially and dramatically. So we should do this sort of exercise. The way I like to do it is 30 seconds of as hard as you can, sprint. And it doesn't have to be running. It could be on a bike, it could be on a treadmill, it could be on any one of those metabolic type things. You could be swimming. 30 seconds as hard as you can go, and then about a minute and 30 seconds of rest. And then 30 seconds of as hard as you can go, a minute and 30 seconds rest, 30 seconds on and off, and you work up to 8 rounds of that. And if you do that, it's been shown that you're going to stimulate the fast twitch muscle fibers, you're going to raise testosterone, and your body is going to be targeting that fat for 2 hours after you're done exercising. So where you're done in 20 minutes, and the other people are out there on the treadmill running for an hour or 2 hours, you're going to get a lot more benefit than they get. So do it. It's awesome. It's hard, but it's really hard for a short period of time. The other thing you can do to raise testosterone levels are to strength train. So go hit the gym, use weights. If you're not comfortable doing that, find a trainer. Do it the right way. Find someone who's there to help make sure you're doing things safely and doing it the right way. But lift weights. It's also good for osteoporosis too. The real heavy, big, full body movements like deadlifts and squats, and those full body movements are the best for that as well. And the fourth thing, which is the easiest thing to do, and that is to take supplements. Now, the supplements that we take are based on research, double-blind placebo studies that show that we're able to increase our testosterone levels, both free and total testosterone levels, by as much as 2 times, as much as doubling it just by taking a supplement. So who wouldn't do that? It's completely safe. And some of the things that we would take would have to be in the proper amounts. We like to have 2 different. We have 2 different products that we like to use right now. They're based off of the research, the exact amounts that the research shows are helpful to raise testosterone. And some of the things that are used are Peruvian maca, velvet deer antler, LJ 100 is another one, and Trabecularis terraris is another one that we use as well. So those are things that you can put in supplement form that you're able to just take on a daily basis. It's been shown over a long periods of time to be safe, and things that won't lower your testosterone levels later. So in other words, there's not a honeymoon phase where you're high and then low. So if you eat the right things, you exercise the right way, and you take the right supplements, you're going to be a healthier person all around. You're going to have less fatigue, more muscle, less fat, and you'll probably be happier too, and your brain will work better because we talked about that as well. So lastly, the thing that we need to talk about is toxins that we deal with. So heavy metals that are in our bodies. If you've ever had silver fillings, those are things that are going to cause us to strain our adrenal glands and make that pathway go up the top here over to the adrenal hormones. infections like candida and parasites and bacteria and stealth viruses that are in our body. We need to identify those as well, remove those from the body, and as we remove them specifically, then a person can be healthier. And then xenoestrogens as well, pesticides, herbicides, things like that. We want to stay away from them and identify if we have them in our body. And if they're in our body, we want to find someone who's able to identify it and pull it out, which is what we do here in this office. So if you have questions about what you should take, what supplements you need to have, if you have low testosterone, any questions you have at all, don't be afraid to put them in that comment box below. I answer every single comment that people give me, and I do it personally. If you want to email us a personal question or message us, you can do that as well. If you share this video with someone else who might be suffering with low testosterone, maybe it's a man, maybe it's a woman, it doesn't matter, we will enter you in that contest that we talked about for that TV as well. So for everyone who has followed us and everyone who is liking us and supporting us, we truly appreciate you. I'm glad you're watching. I hope this is making a difference in your life, and I try to bring you things that are that you can do on your own, that you don't need necessarily to go to a doctor to get help on your own. These are simple, easy things, and they're almost all the same. So from week to week, if we said you should have this diet for this issue, and this diet for that issue, and this diet for this other issue, it would be really hard to be healthy, but the truth doesn't change. That's the reality of things. If you just keep doing things the way I'm telling you, most problems you're going to have are just going to fall by the wayside. You just take away the things that are in the way of healing, and your body gets better. So again, I'm going to sign off in just a moment, but thank you again for watching. I hope that this helps you, and share it with others. Have a great week, and have a great Halloween, and be safe.